Today, I'm going to talk to you about 3 things that can improve your relationship. Now, the first thing, it's going to take a little bit to talk about, but if you stick around to the end, it's going to be worth it. You're going to understand what is happening in your relationship, the emotional factors that are driving your behaviors or your partner's behaviors, and what to do about it. So, the first thing is you need to identify the cycle that is happening. And what do I mean by this? The cycle, that seemed weird. What do I mean by a cycle? There's patterns of behaviors in relationships that can be toxic. It serves a function, but it really becomes counterproductive. You want to find out what is driving these maladaptive behaviors for you. So let me give you an example of this cycle. Let's say there's a guy, he's in a relationship, his girlfriend is at home, he's supposed to get home at 5:30, but he had a horrible day at work, he screwed up, he almost got fired, so he feels like crap. It doesn't feel like he's good enough, and he withdraws. So instead of going home, 5:30, 6:30, 7:30, he goes to the bar, he starts drinking. Meanwhile, girlfriend is trying to get a hold of him, 5:30, 6:30, 7:30. He's not there for her. She starts to worry, is he okay? What's happening? What's going on? He walks through the door. Now she's pissed. What's happening is she's having a fight or flight response because he wasn't there. He walks through the door, now it's a fight response. Where were you? What were you doing? Why didn't you let me know? He feels like crap. He doesn't want to fight. Says, I can't handle this. Just don't yell at me. I can't fight. Just leave me alone. And he starts to walk away. He's feeling it like he's not good enough because he's being attacked. And he withdraws, and she's feeling abandoned because, she's being abandoned. So there's this pursuer-withdrawer dynamic where she needs to know that he is there for her. And when he's not, she worries, she feels scared. This turns into anger. She criticizes. He doesn't feel good enough. His need is to know that he's good enough, that he's loved for who he is. He doesn't feel that way, particularly when he screws up or when he's called out, when he's criticized. So he feels shame, and then he withdraws. And when he withdraws, she feels abandoned. Do you see the cyclical nature of what is going on? This is what I'm talking about the cycle, the dynamic, how two people interact, identifying whether you're the pursuer or whether you're with the drawer. Out of the story, who do you connect with more? Do you connect more with, when I don't like to get into fights, I like to avoid? Or, no, I like to hash things out, I want to know everything's okay. Understanding which role you play is important. Now, it may be that your cycle is a little bit more complex than the one I gave, but that's okay. You have a start. You understand which of these you identify with more. So if you tend to withdraw, what that means is when you withdraw, your partner is going to feel abandoned. They're going to feel a fight or flight response. That may not be your intention at all. You might think, why would they feel that? No, that's a human, natural response. You can look up the still-faced baby experiment. When a mother goes and does not interact with their child has a fight or flight response. As adults, we're the same. If you're not there, present for your partner, they're going to have a fight or flight response. So if you tend to withdraw and avoid fights, you want to recognize, this is my tendency. So that's the first thing, is recognizing what your tendency is. Then second, you also want to recognize what the need is, the emotional need of you and your partner. My partner needs to know that I'm there. Or I need to know I'm good enough. This enables you to have the language to talk about this dynamic, because you need to talk about this dynamic. In order to break out of it, you need to talk about it. And you need to stop it. And you need to do the opposite of what you have been doing. So if your tendency is to withdraw and you come back, you say, this is really hard for me. It's really hard for me to open up and talk about my feelings. It's scary. I withdraw because I don't feel good enough. That's super vulnerable, but that is going to actually change this, because in doing that, your partner is not going to feel abandoned. And if you tend to pursue and you get angry that your partner is abandoning you, you need to recognize, oh, I tend to pursue. They're not feeling good enough. Maybe I need to listen. Instead of saying what I think, maybe I need to encourage them to say what they think first. Then, when it's my turn, maybe I can then say, I felt scared. When this happened, I felt scared, and this is why I did what I did. This is what you can do to change this dynamic. If you're interested in more about what this dynamic is, it's the emotionally focused therapy cycle, pursuer withdrawer cycle. Emotionally focused therapy is a type of therapy that caters to changing this dynamic and creating secure attachment. So just to recap, you want to identify the cycle. You want to identify the emotional needs of both you and your partner. And you want to be vulnerable and change what you are doing. So if you withdraw, you don't want to withdraw. You want to talk about the cycle. You want to be vulnerable. If you pursue, you don't want to pursue. You want to listen. And then when it's your turn, then you talk about the cycle and what was happening, the underlying needs of needing to know that they are there for you. That's a long number 3. But that third thing, if I could summarize it, I would just say, do the opposite and be vulnerable. So identify the cycle, identify the attachment needs of you and your partner, and do the opposite and be vulnerable. Those 3 things will help. So if you find yourself slipping into that pattern, you now have something you can do to change that pattern. Let me know. Let me know what you think. Click like and subscribe if you know people who are in a relationship that are looking to improve their relationship. You can send this to them. If you can send this to your partner. Thank you. And I hope to see you next time.